Welcome back to Open Line, talking with elder law attorney Tim Takis. All kinds of good calls tonight.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the calls. Let's go to Margaret. Hello, Margaret.
Yes.
Hi, what's on your mind?
I'd like to know the difference between a conservator and a power of attorney.
All right.
Okay. Well, that opens up a whole can of worms there, but that's great. You know, we've got, every once in a while that comes up. The short answer to that question would be, if we're looking at someone who's in about a conservator or a conservatorship, some states they call it guardianship. In Tennessee, if you're an adult, it's conservatorship. If you're a minor, it's guardianship. But basically what that means is that it's court supervised oversight, of somebody else.
Okay.
Okay, so that's sort of the short answer, and basically what that means is that they found some old person wandering around on the side of the road who doesn't we didn't know who he is or where he is or what his name is, and he can't tell us who his family is. Someone will go to court and be named conservator for him. So then the court makes decisions, based upon recommendations and whatnot from the conservator and others about how that person should spend their money, how he should be taken care of. So essentially what happens is you lose your rights to make decisions for yourself, and those rights are vested in a court.
And that's if you're wandering the streets and you're not able to take care of yourself.
Right, and you haven't named anybody else. And
right.
So if you've got a power of attorney, so let's say this old guy's wandering around in the streets and he doesn't know who he is or where he is or what his name is or who his family is. And you go, "Who are you, old man?" And you go, "I don't know, but I've got a power of attorney in my pocket. Why don't you look at that?" So they look at his power of attorney. It's like, "Oh, okay." Are you Jack Jones? Yeah, that's me. Well, who is John Jones or Jane Jones? Is that your daughter? Yeah, that's her. So then it's like, okay, this guy's got a power of attorney, so they call Jane Jones, and says, "Well, we found your daddy wandering around in the streets," and they're going, "Oh my gosh, we've been worried about him. He's been lost for 2 days." That's the sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Jane shows up and says, "Come on, Daddy, we're going to make sure that you're taken care of," and she stays in charge because her daughter, because Daddy named her. But if you don't name anybody, then you risk the possibility that
of a court order.
That a court it's going to take over. The way I put it is that do you really want a judge to help to decide how you're going to take care of your mom?
Right.
Now maybe if mom doesn't ever make those decisions, that's what you're forced to do. But that's why one of the reasons that it's important for people to make
decisions, take control.
Yeah, take control. Have a plan. Who's going to take over for you if you can't make your own decisions?
Thank you for that call, Margaret. Let's go to Tina. Hello, Tina.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. My question was, I've got a parent, my mom, who is conserved in another state. I live here in Nashville. And what my concern is, my sister or my sibling that has the conservatorship, and I don't see the eye to eye on a thing. So I'm wondering, in regards to that conservatorship, how much control does that conservatee have as far as, are we talking who she gets to visit, my mom gets to visit, who visits her, are we talking just business aspect?
Yeah, and that's a good question because what she's saying is that, and it could be, it's like, well, I'm trying to visit mom and my sister says you can't come. Well, just because you're a conservator doesn't mean mom doesn't want to see me. Well, I'm in charge and you can't come see mom.
Right.
Maybe that's sort of like the unfortunate part if that's what's happening. And so what she's asking is that, well, can mom make that decision? Can she tell my sister, go jump in the lake, I'm going to, I want to see my other daughter, and the answer is always, what's the court order say?
Okay. So it varies. Depends on what the court order says.
Yeah. Now, what's supposed to happen in this state as well as most other states, because there's been a real sea change as to how conservatorships over the last 15 or 20 years are handled. It used to be all or nothing. if you were in a conservatorship, the judge would take your rights away, all your rights, and give them to somebody else. Well, now what the judges are required to do in this state as well as other states is to look for the least restrictive alternative. In other words, what is the minimum amount of rights that needs to be taken away from this person and invested in somebody else? Unfortunately, that takes work.
Right.
And sometimes, judges may, a guardian ad litem is appointed, and a guardian ad litem, who is appointed by the judge, usually another attorney in that state, that jurisdiction who doesn't know anything about old people, files a report and says, yeah, this lady needs a conservatorship, and let's, and we think it should be take all the rights away from her. I mean, I've seen some egregious sort of situations.
And when you take all the rights away, then they're going to go in some sort of facility, right?
No, not necessarily. They can still be living at home, but where that person lives, they have lost control over where they live, what they eat, who they can see,
all their finances.
Yeah, all their finances. And the idea behind what should be the modern conservatorship, is that there'd be only a sort of a carved out set of rights that need to be vested in somebody else,
right,
and leave the other rights to this person.
So you could even dictate who the person can see.
Yes.
So that's pretty. It is all encompassing.
That can be draconian, yeah. And so, for our callers, benefit. She can always go over to that other state, and if she doesn't see eye to eye with her sister, I mean, she may wind up in court and saying, "Is Your Honor, I have, I'm the other daughter. I'm a child." And here's what's going on, and the judge will hear that.
Right, right.
And then the judge has to make that decision as to, okay, what's going on? Should I alter the conservatorship? What's, just like a divorce and custody and visitation case, isn't it?
Another issue
that's
people
what it is.
Call in ask about veterans benefits. A lot of people have benefits.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't even know they have benefits, or spouses, that kind of thing.
Right.
What's the situation there?
Well, just sort of briefly, one of the things that's very, very common for people to have is, okay, World War II, Korea, which is like from 1950 to 55, Vietnam, 65 to 73, or 70, I think 65 to 73, 74, something like that. We have, but if you've been, served during wartime, one day, one day during wartime, 60 to 90 continuous days or whatever it is, you are a veteran, and it entitles you to some benefits. Now the benefits may be, that, if you need some help paying for your medical bills, or assisted living, maybe the VA can help you. His spouses also, widows of spouses are also entitled, widows of veterans are also entitled to benefits. One of the things that we're doing, just as a comment, is that I think it's May 25 at the end of this month. The Gordon Jewish Community Center is hosting hosting a program on veterans benefits. We're presenting, members. I think persons from the VA are going to be there. That are going to be talking about these programs. It's free.
Oh, that's great. So there's a program talking about it. And a lot of people, a lot of spouses don't realize.
They don't realize that, yeah. And even a lot of the veterans don't realize that, let's say they enroll in the VA health system. That doesn't necessarily mean that, they're captive of the VA, that they have to get all of their health care for the VA. So there are a lot of things there that hopefully that, go on our website, or call our office, and we'll give you some information about when and where and all that about that program. So
we'll take a break now, and then we'll come back. We'll give your website, give some information about what to do if you have more questions. We'll take a break, come back, we'll wrap everything up right after this.